Leeds United faced off against Everton last night, and I'll be honest, I was very, very, very happy with the performance. Leeds looked incredibly dominant in the first half. Second half was maybe a little bit of a drop off, but I'm not going to get too much into the match in this video. Going to do a live stream a little bit later after I've had time to sort of rewatch the match, get a better idea of what went on. But there was a lot of telling information in the interviews by Daniel Farke and Paraag Marathe before the match and after the match. So in this little video, I'm going to have a little bit of a deep dive into what was said, what that means for the rest of the transfer window, and ultimately where we're likely to be by the end of the window and what the squad's going to look like. But before I do all of that, I hugely appreciate if you could pop a like on the video and subscribe. It's very easy for you to do. There's the like button's over here somewhere, subscribe is over here somewhere, and it really helps the channel sort of push along a little bit. So thank you very much. Anyway, hopping into the main bit of a video in a moment after these hiccups have gone. I'll start re-recording in a moment. Okay, cool. Right, sorry about that. So I'm going to start with the Paraag Marathe interview, and there was a little bit of fun stuff to be discussed. Specifically, and this is the main quote that a lot of people have taken from it, he was asked what was potentially coming in terms of window stuff. And his response was that there is always activity late in the window, and saying that history has shown that things always happen towards the end of the transfer market. And for me, this is very, very, very telling of something that might be happening in the next couple of days, at least before the Arsenal match. In this instance, I'm looking directly at the Noah Okafor deal. Specifically, Fabrizio Romano, like last night from this perspective, but I'm recording this tonight, Noah Okafor is now on the brink of making his move to Leeds United. Something between 12 and 24 hours before an agreement is actually made. From that point, he'll come over to Leeds, do his medical, all that kind of stuff, and then be announced as a player, I believe, before the match against Arsenal on Saturday, at some point in the next few days. In addition to that, I can see other moves happening too. I don't think Okafor is the end. I think we are still looking for that fullback. And I think Marathe approaching it and saying things along the lines of like, he's not particularly bothered about the financial side of things. He just wants to make sure that Leeds are competitive going into this season and prove that we actually belong in the Premier League rather than just are in the Premier League is a good sign. You don't want to be someone that is in the Premier League, but no one thinks you actually should be there for an extended period of time. You don't want to be in that weird Luton situation where everyone's like, oh, it's cute that you're up here. And then you get relegated and everyone sort of forgets about you, and then suddenly you're in League One. That feels like that's not the position that we want to be in, and it's not the position that Marathe will willingly allow us to be in, which I'm quite happy with. It means that we're at the very least under an ownership that understands how important this is. But there was also a quite important chunk of interview that came from Daniel Farke. This is specifically post-match in the press conference. I'm just going to run through all of the bits that Daniel Farke said because I think they are just as relevant as anything else and quite telling of what the club's sort of strategy is going forward right now. So, first off, pointing out that it was a tight game, hard-fought, well-deserved win, dominant in the first half. He was worried as a new side when you're dominant like that, you have to reward yourself. Everton can come into the game, score, and then the story changes. Effectively, in the first half, we were all over them, and then what happened, happened. What was I going with? In the second half, we sort of like lost control of the game, if that makes any sense. And all it would have taken was a similarly questioned decision from the referee to completely flip the game on its head, and then suddenly Everton are the ones with the 3 points. So scoring in the first half would have probably made things a lot more comfortable for us and made us feel quite a lot better. Then proceed to say, you have to always be switched on. The situation with Ampadu had to go out, and we played in the underload for a few minutes. And he was limping. Everton used the moment. That can knock confidence. But the lads reacted in a perfect way. So we were a man down. Everton came into the game a little bit more. And I think we responded to that well. We stayed tight. We made sure that they didn't cause any problems to us. This was before we made any substitutions as well. Eventually, Ampadu did come off, and Farke has said on that, we have to assess Ethan. I hope it's just a bruise, which is good. If it is just a bruise, then we're fairly comfy. If it isn't just a bruise, then changing the squad for Everton isn't exactly what you want to be forced into doing. And then Farke said the interesting bit that I feel a lot of people will pay a bit more attention to. When you're that dominant, you need the players to be clinical. Dominic will be important for us, this being Calvert-Lewin, who we don't know if he was out from injury in this match. I want to say probably not, or if it was just he's not had enough match practice. Dominic will be important for us, but that was a first step. We're still in the market for more offensive options, as we know, with the Noah Okafor deal. That's a pretty damn big one that we all need to be paying a little bit more attention to, because I think that's going to get across the line in the next couple of days. We are ready to be competitive in these 3 games, but not for the whole season yet. Effectively, first 3 matches of the season were good. We can do Everton, as we did, we won. We can do Arsenal, we can do the one after Arsenal. Why am I tempted to say that's it's not Wolves? I don't know. I'll have to have a very quick look. Sorry about that. Leeds fixtures. Bosh. Newcastle, that's the one. Yeah, so he says we're ready for the first 3 fixtures, but from that point onwards, we don't have a complete squad yet. And that's completely fine, because you have until the end of the window. But the signing of Okafor and whatever comes after Okafor are going to be very, very, very big deals for us and will point us in the right direction at the end of the day. There's a lot to come, is what we can get from both of these interviews. And as a fan base, we should be very happy with that. The way that this transfer window has gone is we've signed from the back and we've worked our way forwards. So we got new centre backs, we got new fullbacks, new goalkeeper, new midfielders, and all of those areas look very, very positive at the moment. They're looking incredibly solid. We controlled the game incredibly well in midfield. In defence, they didn't really have any properly dangerous chances. I'm just going to quickly check the XG on that one, because I know that we were comfortably clear of them. Even without the penalty, we outperformed them on XG. But I just want to make sure and see what sort of XG we conceded. Just so I'm not being full of bollocks, because I want to be accurate, and I always do on the show. They got a grand total of 0.8 XG, which it's not bad, but we still comfortably gapped that with our 2.13. Take out the penalty, we're still on about 1.4. We outperformed them. So that's the defence doing its job. The midfield did its job by controlling the match. We just need that front line to do its thing from now on to make sure that we don't end up with those greater threats. Mecha came on, looked genuinely very, very good. I think he was a bit of an improvement on Peru, maybe because he played a little bit less, but his movement in behind was a bit nicer than Joel Peru's. That's not to get Peru. Peru did very, very well, but they do different things. But at the end of the day, we take 21 shots, you want to score more goals. And that's why those attacking additions in the next couple of weeks will be massive, and I'm looking forward to getting them done. I'm also looking forward to bringing this video to a close, because I've covered both of the bits of the comments. I think we've got more moves on the way in no time at all. I'm very, very optimistic about us getting the job done now. I think we stay up. I'll be completely honest with you. Even in that worst second half against Everton, we weren't bad. We conceded a couple of reasonably high XG chances. So specifically, they got 0.8. 0.62 of that was from 2 chances, where they had 7 shots all match. That's pretty damn good defending, and I think we should and will keep it up. But anyway, with all that in mind, I'm going to end the video there. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, pop a like on it, subscribe, comment, whatever you fancy doing. That'd be absolutely lovely. I'll do a stream at some point today as a sort of post-match analysis thing. I just want a little bit more time to sort of mull things over, have a chat with the chat whilst I'm on, and that'd be lovely. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you later. Toodaloo.